Jammu and Kashmir, the crown of India. As a tourist place, the state is known the world over. But this time, it was in news for the reasons one could never even imagine of. In the early days of September 2014, the ceaseless rains in the state, along with a series of flash floods in the upper terrains of Pir Panjal range, caused huge flooding that swirled throughout the length and breadth of some parts of Jammu and major portion of Kashmir, spreading a trail of heart-rending devastation. The damages were of an intense degree and created mayhem. As a result of the incessant rains and flash floods, the Jhelum was stressed with heavy loads of flood water. The overflowing river burst its banks and inundated vast areas of Pulwama district. Its embankments at Drangabal and Kandezal breached, causing extensive inundation in Pampor and Bantha Chowk.
ऑल ऑफ सडन ये सैलाब हमारे एरिया में आया तो उसकी वजह से बहुत डेवास्टेशन हो गई है हमारे जो मकान है वो बहुत ज़ेरियाब है
Water entered even the Badami Bagh cantonment, engulfing half of the area. The army cantonment suffered heavy losses in terms of infrastructure, stores and services.
50% से भी ज़्यादा बीबी कैंट पानी के बहाव में आ गया.
Half of first floor was in many buildings flooded.
92 Base Hospital, located at Badami Bagh Cantonment, Srinagar, had lost out numerous sophisticated medical equipments. Several army establishments, men and their families were caught in deluge. The flood waters swept across GB Pant Memorial Pediatric Hospital in Sunwar, where a large number of neonates and other children were undergoing treatment, with some of them on life support systems. They were evacuated and brought to 92 Base Hospital for treatment and care.
Army ने अपने boats लाए, that is the aluminium body boats. They evacuated to the last person in the hospital.
We could achieve what was, I consider, a great human tragedy.
मेरे बच्चे की हालत बहुत बुरी थी, लेकिन अभी मुझे लग रहा है मेरा बच्चा बिल्कुल ठीक है. ये रोता भी नहीं था सर. ये हमें बहुत बड़ी मेहरबानी है इंडियन आर्मी की. ये आर्मी वालों ने हमारा मदद किया है.
In Srinagar, high-density population areas were worst affected.
समय ये था कि लगता नहीं था कि जान बचेगी.
In Jammu, Rajouri, Poonch and Riyasi were the worst affected. Landslides washed away many hamlets.
इतना तूफान या इतना बला हमने कभी नहीं देखी.
Some of the important bridges were either completely washed away or damaged.
जो कनेक्टिविटी की बात है, पुंछ की जो दो मेन कनेक्टिविटीज़ है, शेर कश्मीर की वो टोटली डैमेज हो चुकी है और दूसरी ये जो लास्ट कनेक्टिविटी बची है जिसके ब्रिज के ऊपर अभी हम खड़े हुए हैं द्रोंग्रीन नाला, ये सिचुएशन इस ब्रिज को बहुत ज़्यादा डैमेज हुआ है और ये किसी भी वक्त जो है कोलैप्स हो सकता है.
Thus, the army and its different company operating bases in the state were impelled to take the challenge and rescue the flood-beleaguered people.
Actually, Jammu region was struck first, and here obviously the priority was the immediate rescue and relief of people, and subsequently reconstruction of roads, reconstruction of bridges, so that we could reach out in the more remote areas and people could be rescued. Srinagar actually resembled almost a lake, and here the rescue efforts were more prolonged. People had to be rescued in boats, brought out to safe areas. And then of course, a massive evacuation had to take place. And all this happened actually when we ourselves were dealing with the effects of floods.
Rescuing people, the old and infirm, children and women became Army's first priority.
Ascoriyum help. Relief to the Yet at Tibachayuk. Now one month there's Karan, Tami Abakaharmans. Ascorimo mother, Timon Kari Koda mother. Himarashi Koda Panisayasta.
Teams of NDRF from Delhi, Army Aviation Brigade, Navy and Air Force joined in later to continue round-the-clock operations.
जो भी रेस्क्यू हुआ है, जो भी इमदाद आ रही है, वो सारी जो है वो फौज के बलबूते पे आ रही है।
कोई डिपार्टमेंट नहीं आया हमारे पास, सिवा एक आर्मी से।
Army created temporary shelters, established langars and provided medicines to the people who were in dire need of it.
मेडिसिन के तौर पर या रेस्क्यू उन्होंने भेजा या इन्होंने मतलब रिलीफ दे दिया, ठीक कर लिया।
Army undertook the rescue operations, risking their own lives, reaching all the flood-ravaged localities, braving the fury of Jhelum and other rivers, narrow lanes and by-lanes, debris, walls and cables. The officers and Jawans were tasked to receive, account for and distribute the relief material with a great sense of urgency. Besides management of relief material, the Army was also responsible to organize evacuation of the stranded civilians out of the valley. The rescuers had to move to the ground with all the battle loads on, carrying out rescue operations. This was warranted due to the threats to the lives of the rescuers and the people to be rescued. The support lent by young Kashmiri volunteers was no less significant. Project Beacon and Sampark were also galvanized to take care of road network throughout the state.
सारी की सारी रोड कनेक्टिविटी जो है हमने हर तरफ से कोशिश करके इसको खुला रखा.
We had to launch temporary bridges along with the help of the army to restore connectivity in this area.
The effort of combat engineers has a story to tell about Army's concern to connect the people and bridge the distances.
पुलवामा में एक ब्रिज बनाया है जिससे कि पुलवामा, शोपियां और श्रीनगर से कनेक्ट हुआ है.
राजौरी, पुंछ और एलसी तीनों को हमने लिंक कर दिया है.
LC fans about 18 kilometers were damaged and the lighting also has gone. So it was a challenge for us to restore the communication and restore the AIOS at the earliest time frame.
The breakdown of communication system added to the people's woes. Mobile phones became defunct. Army Mobile Cellular Communication System established satellite links for the civil administration to coordinate relief and rescue operations.
The role which was played by MCCS in the whole affair, it proved to be a lifeline during relief and rescue operations.
The Army discovered a novel method and converted its trucks into mobile chargers with the help of generator sets. The Army put the social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter and WhatsApp to a wonderful use to reach the affected people.
Since all communications, telephone communications were totally down, there was a lot of concern among people as to, who are the persons who have been rescued, what is the status of these people. So what we were doing is we were putting out, on the website, names of people who have been rescued. We were also receiving messages from people around the country. My parents are here, my friends are here, somebody's stuck. So that kind of emergency, sort of response by us, and I think it played a major role.
Despite the best efforts, many lives were lost.
Our hearts go out to them. It's not easy in such natural tragedies, to lose their loved ones, and our sympathy to all of them.
While the immediate concerns were being taken care of, the health organization of the army looked forward to prevent the outbreak of an epidemic.
RR7 came here, provided us a lot of this medical assistance. He arranged many trucks and removed the garbage from this area. There was apprehension of spreading of diseases.
As a symbol of the revival of educational facilities, the Army Public School at BB Cant started functioning in makeshift classrooms within 10 days of floods having hit the valley. Within the next 10 days, the original school building was fully restored for the academic activities.
School start हुआ तो we actually got out of that trauma और लगा कि life is getting back to normal now.
स्कूल ने भी हमारी बहुत मदद की. इन्होंने हमारे को नोटबुक्स बांटी, लंच बॉक्सेस, वाटर बॉटल्स, पेंसिल एंड पेंसिल बॉक्स वगैरह.
Hospitals began to run short of blood supply. The army organized blood donation camps across the valley.
We want to thank them on behalf of all the people that they have come forward to donate blood at this critical situation.
The army has now taken upon itself the immense task of identifying and providing assistance to the extremely needy people.
आर्मी की तरफ से हमें आरआर की तरफ से रिलीफ मिल रहा है, जिससे हम कुछ एक कमरा ताकि बना सकेंगे इससे ताकि हम सर्दियों में आराम कर सकें.
शुक्रगुजार है आर्मी के, क्योंकि इन्होंने हमारे लिए बहुत कुछ किया है.
बहुत बड़ी फ़ख्र की बात है कि हमें ये मौका मिला है आवाम को मदद करने के लिए.
इन्होंने इस मुश्किल घड़ी में लोगों की मदद की और उसके लिए मैं बार बार जनरल साहब का और उनके साथियों का शुक्रिया करता हूं और मैं करता रहूंगा.
Operation Megh Rahat, launched by Army, was purely a humanitarian mission. The selfless sacrifices of the Indian Army, supported by the people of Jammu and Kashmir, proved to be the healing touch for the people bruised by the fury of the floods.